I'm Melissa Krieger with Do Yoga With Me. This is Hatha Yoga for Beginners, a healthy spine. We'll begin our practice on our backs with our knees bent. The feet can be a little bit wider, the knees can knock in towards each other, your chin can tuck in a little bit, hands just beside you. Just start to settle in, just relaxing through the face, the jaw, the shoulders, back body's heavy, hands and feet relaxed, a little bit of space between your fingers and your toes. Beginning to lengthen out your inhale and exhale. Extend your exhale out a little bit longer. So almost trying to empty your body of breath. When you're ready, you can stretch your legs out and straighten your arms behind you and try to really reach through the entire body. Trying to stay really long. And then take a little bit of a lean over to one side so you can stretch out through the armpit, through the waist. Take a lean over to the other side. Come back through to center. Let your feet be flat again. Take your feet as wide as the mat. Keep them that wide. Start to let both knees fall over to the same side. Your head can turn away. So try this a couple times. You'll bring the knees, the head back through to center. Knees go one way, head goes the other way. This twist should feel really good. There shouldn't be any crankiness in your knees or your low back. If there is, please modify the range of motion so it feels good again. Your backside doesn't need to stick to the floor. There'll be some movement there for sure. Come back through to center. Walk your feet closer together, so getting set up for bridges, just gauging that your hips, knees, and heels are about the same distance apart, hands beside you, feet really firm into the floor. We'll try to articulate through the spine. So inhale at the bottom. Exhale, flatten your low back into the floor and then peel up one vertebra at a time, if it's possible. At the top, take a breath, please. Engage the inner thighs. Feel the big toes push down. And then exhaling to roll back down again. Inhale at the bottom. Exhale, flatten your low back into the floor. Peel up, roll up one vertebra at a time. Use the strength of your back body to help you lift. Inhale at the top. Exhale to lower. Inhale at the bottom. And then again, exhale, flatten that low back down. Roll up, peel up one vertebra at a time. Stay here for a couple breaths so you're holding the pose but not your breath. This is extending the spine. Because we spend so much time in a seated position, we need more gentle extension, side stretching, twisting. So that's my inspiration in this class. Take another inhale in. Take an exhale, roll back down again. And then just take a roll over to one side. Doesn't matter what side it is. Your bottom arm can be your pillow. Take your top arm, stretch it to the sky, and just circle that wrist a few times. Try to draw the head back. Because we spend so much time in a seated position, we have this forward head posture. Circle the other way. So we end up kind of hunched over all the time. So the head drawing back will just help you put that in the same line again. Bring the fingers to the shoulders, roll your shoulders open a few times. And then maybe straighten the arm and roll or circle the arm a few times. So being stuck in seated all day long, that's called flexion in the spine, and it makes our hips and our shoulders really tight. So we need to open up a little bit more there. Bend your top knee, reach back and grab your foot. So taking a quadricep stretch. Your bottom knee bent will help your balance here. If you want to increase the stretch, pull the thigh back rather than pulling the knee up. Take another inhale. And then exhale to release that. You can just roll yourself over or turn yourself around. Remember to pull the head back. Top arm extends, just circle that wrist. Both ways. The elbow. Maybe the arm. And the quadricep. Keep the breath full and even. Keep those exhales really long. Release the leg, push the top hand down. Bring yourself up into all fours, please. Let your spine move just kind of free form. So maybe the hips sway a little bit from side to side. And then maybe you let the hips circle a little bit. And circle the other way. Just see that your hands, you've got the fingers spread really wide, the wrists are underneath the shoulders. Come back through to center, those more traditional cat-cow curls. Take an inhale. Exhale, drop your head, mid-back pushes up. Inhale, belly drops forward, take that arch. Imagine you're pulling your chest through your shoulders. Exhale, drop your head. So this is flexion. This is where our spine kind of exaggerates, ends up in a seated position. This is extension, when your belly drops forward. That's what that bridge was too. So just important to do different movements to get our body out of that flexion that we're stuck in all day. Come back through to center and just a couple side cats. Turn back, look to your feet. Inhale to center. Exhale, check out the other side. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Back through to center and up to downward dog. So take those hands further up. Spread the fingers out. Pinkies might touch the sides of the mat. Tuck the toes. Belly drops down. Lift the knees. Hips push up and back. Let your head hang. So maybe it's just still and stationary, but you can move. You can move your knees. You can move your hips. You can stretch a leg to the sky. Whatever feels good. Give your head a little bit of a yes and a no. And then walk yourself towards your feet. So walking to the back end of your mat. Probably have to bend your knees to help you get there. A little bit of space between the feet, the toes. Slide the hands to the shins. Inhale up halfway. So you're straightening your legs and lengthening your spine. And then exhaling to fold right back down again. Head hangs. So forward folds feel nice and they're important. They help us to stretch and breathe into the back of our body. But we're kind of stuck here all day. So it's not so much of a focus on these forward folds. Take an inhale. Take an exhale. Push your feet down into the ground and roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Head comes up last. Walk your feet a little bit wider apart. Let your knees be relaxed. Just let your hips start to sway from side to side. And circle. The other way. So this is important too for a healthy spine. We need our pelvis, we need our hips to be able to move. Try making an 8 shape. Flexibility is one thing, but fluidity is another. Make that 8 go the other way, which will be a bit weird for your brain. And the knees can bend as much as you need to here. Because we sit so much, our hips get so locked up, they're so rigid, so we need this movement, this extra space. Come on up to the top of the mat. Lift one knee up, and then step it back for a warrior A variation. So there's a little bit of a gap in between your heels. Your back heel's lifted. You'll bend into your front knee and stretch your arms up to the sky.
Just double check that you can see the big toe in your front foot, and then if possible, you're looking forward. So the ribs are contained. We're trying to find the opening from the armpits, the shoulders, and the hips, so we're not just pushing the ribs forward. Sweep your arms around, link up your fingers, draw your hands down a little bit, and then pull your arms back slightly if that feels okay. Keep breathing. Release your arms back up to the sky. Straighten the legs. Drop the arms. Step forward. Try the other side. So lift up the other knee. It is a bit of a balance, so you might want that gap in between the heels. Sweep the arms. Bend into that front knee. Just double check on that big toe on the front foot. Nice and tall and smooth. So the back knee might be bent, but there's still this feeling of kind of pushing that back heel behind you. Sweep the arms around if you like. Reach back, draw the hands down, lift the chest. Still try to keep the ribs contained, so the stretch is still through the shoulders and the hips. Sweep your arms up. Straighten the legs. Drop the arms. Step forward. Lift up the other knee. Step it back farther for a reverse warrior. So the back toe is turned in just a little bit. Sweep out through the arms, drop the shoulders, bend into the front knee. Make sure the tip of the big toe, you can see it, and the knees moving to the baby toe side. Back hand drops to your thigh, front palm turns up. Sweep that front arm up and then look down towards your back foot. Really get some breath, some space into the side body, into the ribs. Inhale back into Warrior B, and then straighten up, drop the arms, step forward. Try the other side. So just initially into Warrior B, checking the knee, and then reverse. Drop the back hand, flip the front palm up, reach up, lean back a little bit, look towards your back foot. So combining a lateral stretch as well as an extension is a really good remedy for being stuck in a seat all day. Find that really long exhale to help you connect a little bit into your core to give you some support in this back bend. Bring yourself back into Warrior B. Straighten up, drop the arms, step forward. One more standing pose, triangle. So one knee comes up, step it back. Back toes are more on a diagonal, so are the hips. Sweep out the arms, sink the shoulders, pull the hip back as you lean forward, forward, forward. Gently come down, don't put a lot of weight down onto the leg, roll the torso open. You can almost imagine that your hips are pushing forward and your head is pulling back slightly with the chin slightly tucked in. Look down to your front foot. Take an exhale, really push your feet into the ground. Bring yourself up. Release your arms, step forward. Other side. Pull the hips back, reach forward, come down. Don't worry about it being low. It's more important that the lines of your torso can stay long. The hips can press forward slightly. The chin's a little bit tucked in. Look down to the front foot. Big exhale, find your core. Pull yourself back up again. Release the arms, step forward. Pause in mountain pose. Palms open, spine tall. Notice how you feel. Come down into a squat, so the feet will go wider apart and the toes will turn out. And you'll sink yourself back, and you might find that your heels need to lift, whereas some of you, your heels will stay down. It doesn't have to be a balance. Your hands can just stay on the floor. You can stay where you are, or you might find it nice to move a little bit, so you might kind of twist over to one side, maybe stretch the arm up. We don't spend a lot of time in squats in our culture. This can be a really great way to release your low back if it's cranky from standing all day. It's a deep hip opener if it's a stretch that's appropriate for you, if your knees are okay with it. Take another inhale in and exhale. Come into child's pose, please. So the knees can be wide or they can be closer together. It's more about your forehead being able to come down to the mat. If it doesn't, take your knees wider. So stay in child's pose and breathe a little bit longer. There's lots of reasons for back pain and cranky low backs, but sometimes one of the reasons is we don't breathe very well into our backs. So this forward fold, this child's pose, gives you an opportunity to really flood the back of the body with breath. And it needs to be comfortable, right? Remember, the knees can be wider if it doesn't feel that comfortable. Take 3 more full breaths here, please. And then slide your hands underneath you, push yourself back up again. If you're okay to stay in hero on your heels, please do. If not, just come to any other comfortable seated position. Just a little bit of side stretching, so take a lean to the side and over to the other side. So the shoulders need to stay down, away from the ears, which might mean that your bottom elbow needs to bend a little bit more. Come back up again and start to make your way towards your back, please. Take the feet wide again. Let the arms stretch out. Let both knees fall to the same side. If it's safe, pick that bottom foot up and let it rest on your top leg to pull you down a little bit deeper. For some of you, this is way too much. It bugs your knees or your low back, so please just to go back to where you were, both feet are on the ground rather than one foot pulling the leg down lower. Release that top leg. Bring the knees back through to center. Let the knees fall in the other direction. And this might be enough. You don't have to do anything else. Maybe that bottom foot could pick up to drop you down a little bit deeper. But if it feels painful or you have to restrict your breath in any way, it's too much. So you'll just rest as you normally would, both knees to one side. You can release that top leg. Bring the legs back through to center, even out the hips. And coming into Shavasana, the legs can be straight, or you can try constructive rest pose again. That's with the knees knocking in towards each other and the feet a little bit wider. Let yourself drop down into the mat and totally let go. We'll be here for a few minutes.
If you would like a longer Shavasana, please ignore me and stay here as long as you need to. Otherwise, you'll let your breath get a little bit fuller, a little bit deeper. And you'll start to move a little bit. Just gently waking the body back up again, feeling refreshed and awake, but still calm. Maybe one big extension with the arms and the legs. Bend the knees, roll to your side. And then press yourself up. Sitting tall, eyes closed, hands to prayer, head bows down. Notice how you feel. Thank your body for all its hard work. And thank yourself for practicing today. Open your eyes. Lift your head. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.